Hello and welcome back to another video. This is my Premier League Game Week 1 reaction. So basically I'm just going to go through all the games, react to how it went. Fantastic game week of Premier League football. Also react to my predictions, see how they went, and obviously I will predict Game Week 2 in a future video. Starting off Liverpool-Bournemouth, game ended 4-2. Yeah, it was a good game of football. It was a good advert for the Premier League. Good to have that be the first game back. Ekitike, another good goal. Obviously, that late Chiesa goal was effectively the winner, but Salah got another one to make it 4-2. Deep in injury time. Semenyo bagged 2 goals. Looked quality. Looks like a very, very good asset for Bournemouth. They need to keep hold of him. I believe he signed a new contract, so that is important. I thought it was going to take a bit more time for Bournemouth to figure things out. So I'm surprised they look really, really good, to be honest. And that 15th I put them is probably wrong already. Triffer, I thought, looked really, really good at left back. Probably looked better than Kirkes in the game, to be honest. Senesi looked like he did well. And obviously the standout was Firmino going forwards. And I don't think Petrovic had a bad game in goal either. I think he did pretty well. So in terms of Liverpool, Frimpong and Kirkes got 60 minutes in the tank each. Not bad, but yeah. There's obviously going to be that rotation with the likes of Robertson and Conor Bradley as the season goes on. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see as they build into the team, because they're going to need minutes to build the relationship, to figure things out in the Liverpool team. And yeah, getting 60 minutes in and getting a win is probably all Liverpool could ask for today. The only thing they probably would have hoped a little bit better, maybe, would have been not to concede the 2 goals. You could argue, you can't just argue, it's a fact. Konate was heavily at fault for one of the Semenyo goals, and that was a great goal, by the way. And it's worth mentioning, obviously, the vile racist abuse aimed at Semenyo in the game, and for him to come through and score 2 goals like that. Well done to him. It has no place in football. And yeah, he responded in the absolutely perfect way by putting in a performance like that. On a much more respectful note, that rendition of You'll Never Walk Alone, all of it was just so special. The tribute to Diogo Jota and Andre Silva was absolutely fantastic to see. Wolves was also unbelievable. And obviously minute silence around the league were amazing. But yeah, really, really respectful. You know, obviously Anfield's a massive stadium, and quite often you will see fans, a few idiots doing something stupid. I don't think we saw that at Anfield. I think it was pretty much effectively the entire stadium united in tributing the player, which it should be in every stadium, but you're always going to have a couple of idiots. And at Anfield, I just don't think you did. You only had that one idiot who did what he did to Semenyo. So I went 2-0 in that game, it ended 4-2, so that's 1 point for the predictions. It's not bad. I'm not going to complain too much about that. I don't think anyone predicted the game would end 4-2, but I think a lot of people did rightly predict the Liverpool win. And I thought they'd win. I didn't expect they would be able to score 4 goals, and I didn't expect Bournemouth would be well enough together to score 2 goals. But looking at it realistically, the way I saw the game going, I don't think it's all that much different. Obviously, I'm 4 goals out, so you could argue that's a bit mental. But in terms of the fact, Bournemouth didn't look completely gelled in terms of the players. You know, Diakite, I pointed that out in the predictions. He's coming in. You bring him in with no pre-season, trying to push him into the squad. That's going to be difficult. And yeah, it is what it is. It worked. They got through the game, scored 2 goals. It didn't look too bad, but defensively there was some issues. And I thought there would be some defensive problems. But I thought they'd hold out and not concede, be defending a lot more in the game. Instead, they're actually committing a lot of men forward, trying to get back in the game. And they did get back in the game at 2-2. I then thought they would defend a bit more, but Obviously, Chiesa scored, then they had to try and chase the game again, and that's Salah scoring right on the death. I don't think 4-2, looking at it from a Bournemouth perspective, is all that bad, to be completely honest. Moving on now to Villa Newcastle, a lot less talking points in this game, because nothing happened. Some things happened. Conte got sent off. That was obviously the big thing of the game. I did watch this game, so I can actually talk a bit about it. Newcastle controlled the first half, were definitely the better team throughout the game. Obviously, Conte got sent off for Villa in the second half. At that point, it felt like Newcastle will go get a goal, because Newcastle had controlled the game up to then, and you think, well, now they've got a man advantage, they will go and find it. They didn't. And yeah, generally speaking, it was a pretty poor game, to be completely honest. Neither side really looked like they were going for it, if you know what I mean. But yeah, at the end of the day, I said 3-1 to Villa. I thought the Isak issue would mean that Newcastle would be a bit distracted, heads in other places, and ultimately they weren't. They played pretty well. They were lacking that goal. Gordon had a headed chance. I think if Isak's there, Isak scores. So obviously it's a big loss for them to not have Alexander Isak with them, but at the same time, they didn't lose, and I thought they would. But 0-0's not an awful result to start off the season. Newcastle's only real concern this week is that Sunderland won, I would have thought, the fact they're behind Sunderland in the league. Moving on then to Brighton against Fulham. And yeah, Brighton ended up drawing this game in the end. I was going to say winning. No, they drew 1-1 in the end. That late Muniz goal, bit of a shock from what I heard. I didn't watch the game, but from what I heard, Brighton were dominating, completely dominating the game. And it was a bit of a shock that Fulham found that late goal, to be completely honest. That's what I heard anyway. Might be wrong, but that's what I heard. But yeah, I said 2-1 Brighton. It ended up being 1-1. So 0 points from the last two. We're on 1 point still from that Bournemouth game. This has not been a good week for the predictions so far. Am I going to get a single one? Bang on. Moving on to Sunderland, West Ham, and I already know I got this one wrong. But what a result for Sunderland to win that game, you know. What a result. Yeah, Sunderland, I said they'd come up and stay up. And I said West Ham would stay up. I think I put West Ham 14 for my predictions. They ain't finishing 14th if they don't get some players in. I said 2-2 between Sunderland and West Ham. I thought Sunderland would come and nick a point. Nicking a point. West Ham went to the stadium and left with a 3-0 loss and an embarrassment to a newly promoted team. Graham Potter should be embarrassed. The West Ham squad should be embarrassed, because that was absolutely disgraceful. You do not lose 3-0 to a newly promoted team like that, and that is exactly what they did. Shocking performance. We're still on 1 point. This is also a shocking performance from me in the predictions. Moving on then, Tottenham, Burnley. Please tell me I got this one right. I don't know what I predicted. Let's have a look. 3-0. I said 3. Was it 3-0? Was it 3-0? I know they scored a lot. Saturday. It was 3-0. We're up to 4 points. That's not bad. We got one bang on. That's not bad at all. Didn't see it coming. I didn't see myself getting that one right, to be honest. Spot on. I thought I'd get the result right. I think everyone said Tottenham would beat bloody Burnley. But the scoreline 3-0, I think I just came up with that off the top of my head as well. I think I just went, 3-0 Tottenham. Because I think it was ultimate that they were going to win the game. But an unknown whether what the scoreline would be. Moving on to City Wolves. Yeah, what a game. I did actually watch this one as well. Obviously, I didn't watch the 3 o'clocks, but I watched pretty much every other game. I watched City Wolves. I felt City looked really good, you know. I put them 4th this season again. That's wrong. I can tell you now that is wrong. City could win the league. they seriously will be in the title fight. If it is what I always said it was going to be, which is an Arsenal-Liverpool title fight, City will be a couple of points behind at most. City are going to be right up there. Like, right up there. Right in contention. And as I say, they easily could win it. You know, they will be there or thereabouts. They definitely could win it. I said they'd win 3-1. They won 4-0. Haaland looked absolutely fantastic, but the standout of the game was obviously Reindeers, who looked absolutely amazing. Top quality player. Fantastic performance. And if he keeps that up, the rest of the league's in trouble. So that is another point. What does that take us up to? 5. 5 isn't bad, to be on at this point. But yeah, on to Chelsea Palace. I did watch this, as they should have scored. I'm not sure about that goal gained as allowed. Maybe in the rule book it is, I don't know. But it felt wrong to me. But yeah, I said 1-1 in this game. And it ended 0-0. So that is our 6th point. We're doing well, you know. It started off shockingly, but we're doing well. That Tottenham result has spurred us on a bit. That wasn't even meant to be a pun, but I guess it worked. But anyway, yeah, I'm happy with that. That ain't bad. Moving on to Forest Brentford. Surely I said Forest would win. I did 2-0. It ended 3-1, so that's another point on the board. I didn't watch that game, I watched the Chelsea game. But from what I saw of it, Forest absolutely controlled it, and Keith Andrews at Brentford has got serious work to do if he wants to keep them up, if we're honest. So yeah, moving on now to the next game. I said Arsenal would beat United 3-0. That's an interesting one. I must have been a bit bold there, because that is not what happened. We won 1-0 and we were awful. I wouldn't say we were lucky to come out with a point. It was a really tough game. It's a really good Manchester United team. They actually look really good. I know it's one game and they lost the game, but yeah, the performance was really, really good from them, and I'm not surprised that they turned up and put in a good performance, but I guess I am surprised in another extent that we were so poor. You know, we should have done better against them. But at the same time, first game of the season away at Old Trafford to get a win is a good result. And hopefully the performance improves at Leeds. If it doesn't, we are in a spot of bother in terms of challenging for the title. And yeah, that takes us on to the last game from last week, Monday Night Football. Leeds-Everton. Yeah, I felt Leeds played pretty well. Came out with the win. Probably didn't deserve to. I mean, on the run of play, maybe they did, but the way they did it through the penalty, absolutely not. Never a penalty in a million years. Awful decision, awful officiating. Tarkowski was tucking his hand out the way and it was given as a penalty. It's an absolute embarrassment. But that's the standard of officiating we have to deal with at times in this country, so yeah, I don't know. Don't really know what to say, but a good result from Leeds nonetheless. Fair play to them, I suppose. And yeah, that is my reactions to Premier League Game Week 1. So, what did I predict for Leeds Everton? I'm pretty sure I predicted a 1-0 Everton win, didn't I? So, that takes up to 8 overall points. That's not bad at all, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm happy with 8 points for the first game. Really interesting Game Week 1 of football, and hopefully Game Week 2 brings us just as much excitement. So yeah.